Yes, everybody, welcome back to Talking Wolves. My name is Dave, and we're here for another match preview as Wolves are travelling to Carrow Road to take on Norwich City in this weekend's Premier League matchup. It's been a really positive start to the season for Wolves. A couple of weeks now of games where Wolves really need to knuckle down and get some points on the board ahead of a really tricky December period. But I'm going to be giving my thoughts on the game as always, guys. Be sure to hit the like button down below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below on this game. But Wolves coming off the back of a fantastic 1-0 win over West Ham United. The team arguably in form, or were in form ahead of the game at Molineux on Saturday. And you guys will know, I sort of went into the preview with a little bit of confidence. And then if you watch the opposition preview last week, Luke from West Ham Central, he just raved and waxed lyrical about West Ham United. And it got me a little bit nervous going into the game on Saturday. But I tell you what, Bruno Lage set us up fantastically well. And I don't think we gave West Ham much of a chance in that game. We probably should have scored maybe another goal, and I think that would have, wouldn't have flattered us at all. I think, a 2-0 win would have been fair with how well we played. You'd probably pinpoint maybe Adama's chance towards the end, or Max Kilman's chance from the set piece as the opportunities for Wolves. But look, fantastic win nonetheless. And we move on to a couple of games now over the next week or so. We play Norwich, and then we play Burnley next Wednesday as well. And two games that you'd hope Wolves can try and get something out of those matches. Later on, we're going to have an opposition preview with Talk Norwich City as well, which is a fantastic one. So stay tuned for that one as well. But I'm really hoping Wolves can really knuckle down now. If we can grab another couple of wins, before the international break, a disappointing defeat against Palace. We've bounced back fantastically well. And I think one of the reasons we did so well against West Ham is that Bruno Lage got us to play on the front foot. We had our foot on the gas for a lot of the game. And we went at West Ham. And that's what we need to do more of, especially away from home. I think we've lacked it a little bit away from home. You look at the numbers between Norwich and Southampton. Norwich got a really good win against Southampton. They've won 2 on the bounce now. That was Dean Smith's first game in charge of the club, getting their first win. But you look at the numbers, Southampton dominated the amount of shots, dominated the ball, but Norwich still came out with a win. But I've got a feeling if Wolves can do the same as Southampton in terms of having that many chances and having that much of the ball, you would probably expect us to win this game. But, football isn't always that easy. In terms of team news, nothing new really as such. Obviously, on Friday when we have Bruno Lage's press conference, we'll post all the news on there, so be sure to follow us on our socials at Talking Wolves everywhere. Bruno Jordao is one that has been spoke about quite a bit over the last week or so. He's back in training now, and Bruno Lage today has basically said, right, he's got 6 weeks to prove what he's worth. Otherwise, more than likely, he's going to get loaned out. But it sounds like Bruno Lage does like Jordao. He knows what he's about. He knows his quality. And hopefully, he recovers from this injury. He was a player who did really well whenever he played in the 23s. I think I watched him against Reading in the Carabao Cup a couple of years ago. Him and Shabani both looked really, really decent. It's just a shame. We've had a couple of quality players over the last year or so. Quality under 23 players have quite serious injuries. Shabani and Jordao in particular. So Jordao is one that I'm really interested to see how he can get on and if he can break into the first team, especially under Bruno Lage, who seems to, historically have a very good relationship with younger players and being able to get the best out of these younger players. And who knows, with the way he's sort of got the best out of Neves so far this season, we could see the same with Jordao as well. Let's jump into my predicted lineup though for this game away at Norwich at Carrow Road. And I think, just to be a little bit boring, it's probably going to be unchanged. I'd be very, very surprised to see if Bruno makes any changes for this game. We've gone with Jose Sarr in goal, who, again, fantastic game for him, and he's had a fantastic season. There was an article on Sky Sports this week. If you haven't checked it out, go and check that one out, which just highlighted the differences between him and Patricio so far this season. At the back three, it's going to have to be Romain Saiss, Connor Cody, Max Kilman. Those three keeping the likes of, Willy Bolly out of the team is fantastic, for them, obviously. And who'd have thought it, this time last season, saying Willy Bolly's going to be a second choice and we won't have actually signed any centre-backs. So, yeah, a big for them. Maybe with the running of fixtures now over the next month or so, we may well see Bolly at some point. But at the moment, I think it'll be those three. Ryan Aït-Nouri, really solid game, I thought, as well, against West Ham on Saturday. He's got to keep his place. Nelson Semedo on the right-hand side. Neves and Moutinho finally getting that connection back, finally finding that form again together. Those two have got to start in the middle for me. And then a front three of Hwang Hee-chan, Raul Jimenez, of course, and Daniel Bedence to keep his place. I think his performance in that last game warrants him to keep his place. Adama came on towards the end. If Adama may, put the ball in the back of net or put it on a plate for Jimenez to make it 2-0, we may well be having a different discussion and a different conversation. But for me, Podence has got to start. So an unchanged team for me for Wolves going into this game against Norwich. But I had the absolute honour of speaking to Chris from Talk Norwich City ahead of this game. We're going to get the Norwich perspective, what happened with Daniel Farke, Dean Smith's arrival, and how they've been getting on this season so far. Hi guys, delighted to welcome Chris from Talk Norwich City on for today's opposition preview. Firstly, Chris, how you keeping, man? How are you?
I'm well. We've won 2 games on the bounce, and we are feeling this wave of optimism in the Norwich City world at the moment. It's looking very, very yellow, and things are starting to look up now for Norwich. I guess that's just because it's been so blooming dismal for us this season, but no, I'm buzzing at the moment. I'm feeling really positive and optimistic, and looking forward to proving a few people wrong now. I really am.
Yeah, I mean, it could be this weekend, but we'll talk a little bit more about that. But there's loads to get into with Norwich this season. There's been loads happening. Managerial change. You boys even introduced a new badge, did you, yesterday? I saw.
Yeah. We're draw. And by the way, interestingly enough, the agency that did the Wolves brand has also done the Norwich one.
Oh, that was as well.
Yeah, so our crest is designed by the same company that designed the new Wolves one.
Oh wow. There we go. I didn't even know that. That's a good fact there. There we go. So Norwich this season, like you say, you got 2 wins on the bounce. You're not right at the foot of the table, and sorry to bring that up, but like you said, the atmosphere around Norwich, has it much improved over the last couple of weeks then?
Yeah, definitely. Things were getting really dismal under Daniel Farke, and it was such a shame because and we spoke about this on our video that we did on Talk Norwich City, which Dave you kindly came, and we spoke about the similarities between Nuno's exit and also Farke's exit, and it was almost because of how successful they were. It was almost part of their downfall, and it was almost like that expectancy went up. And unfortunately for Daniel, a string of some really bad results and uninspiring performances and chopping and changing the formation that led us to sacking him. I think it was the right thing to do, bringing in a very experienced manager in Dean Smith that knows how to survive in the Premier League. He's done that with Aston Villa. He's always improved every club he's been at. And the first thing that Dean Smith goes is, what the hell are you doing not playing Billy Gilmour? What the hell are you doing letting Todd Cantwell train with the under-21s? Absolute joke. Get those boys back in. And what we saw against Southampton at home, of course, we won that game, Dino's debut, but it was a bit chaotic. But the fans were so buzzing at what they were witnessing, because we were witnessing positive, proactive football, which we've been craving for all of this season, because actually our recruitment's been really good, Dave. Really has. And for Norwich, I mean, it's actually one of it is our record-breaking transfer window. We spent £50 million, which I know Wolves would probably spend on one player, but as a legitimately self-funded football club, the only one in the Premier League, our owners are only worth 25 million. It's big that Norwich have gone in for 50 million. We've signed Matthias Norman, very highly rated central defensive midfielder. Christos Zolis, who's been tipped as one of the most up-and-coming players in Europe at the moment, was flirting with a move to Manchester United. Mila Rashica, of course, who's done some great numbers over in Germany before we signed him. So we've got a real mix of creativity, young up-and-coming talent. Of course, Billy Gilmour mentioned him. So that's in summary where I'm at in the world of Norwich City at the moment. It's exciting to be supporting Dean Smith's Norwich City.
Yeah, I mean, as an outsider, and I sort of mentioned this on the video we did on your channel, Farker, what was, or do you know what the reason was behind his sacking, despite you guys winning that weekend? Was it pre-arranged,
Yeah,
or
done.
what had happened?
Yeah, done. It was done already. Truth be told, I think it was done even before the Leeds. I have a suspicion it was done before. So we lost at home to Leeds 2-1. Leeds have been shocking this season, and that was
Yeah,
really disappointing. But before that, we got absolutely destroyed at Stamford Bridge 7-0. And it was an absolute, total, utter embarrassment, that display. And I think that was pretty much the final nail in Daniel Farke's coffin in his time at Norwich City. He wasn't getting a tune out of our most talented players. Various rumours whipping around his management of Billy Gilmore, of Todd Cantwell, of players that he should be getting more out of. And when you are a Premier League manager, you have to be able to manage players with almost that arrogance, right? What is the reason why they've got to the level they've got to? Because they back themselves at all cost. And yeah, I think basically we had a really tough start to our season. A lot of football fans will know that. We had like Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, Leicester. We had like literally all of these games in a row. And our confidence was sucked and sacked out of us, Dave. Honestly, we were absolutely on the floor. But that was almost an excuse for Daniel Farke. And then we went into some games where you would expect at least a positive display. And we scraped through it like a cold bag of shit, if I'm honest. Sorry to swear, but it's just the truth. It was just so, so poor. And ultimately, I'm so grateful, and we're so blessed to have had Daniel in the time and that he's been at the club and what he's done. Records point total for us in the Championship, 97 points. We won the league with a budget that was maybe midway through the Championship as well. Yeah. So he achieved a lot. But just like Nuno, sometimes it's worth, after those 4 seasons, it's good to just have a fresh pair of eyes on things and just get some new energy and new ideas in the house. That's a long time to be a manager in football, and you Wolves fans will probably appreciate that as well.
Yeah, I agree completely. And I think, like I said as well, sometimes there's a balance of, yes, you want to be fair, have sentiment because, he has done so well for you. But sometimes if you want to get the club to the next level, and probably in Norwich's case is remain as a Premier League club next season, you might, like you say, have to get fresh eyes and a new man in charge. And obviously it's had a positive impact. 2 wins on the bounce. Obviously one was under Farke, but Saturday, a big win against Southampton. I bet when you went 1-0 down after a few minutes, you thought, oh no, here we go again. But God. I watched the highlights. Even Grant Hanley looked surprised when he scored that winning goal, I think. But what a win that was for you guys. What did Dean Smith change? How did you guys approach that game and play?
Well, as I say, the first thing he did is he started Cod Cantwell. I'm still not used to him starting. I don't know. I've forgotten how to pronounce his blooming name. He started Todd Cantwell, an unfit Todd Cantwell. And that was a big statement. And even though we pulled him at half time, it made a real big difference to the way in which we approached the game. We also started Billy Gilmore, who had a poor first, I say poor, maybe an average first half, and then really grew into its second half and was picking those sort of Chelsea Champions League winner sort of style passes. And, it was that quality that really shone through. As I've said already, it was chaotic in the first half against Southampton. One of the ways in which Wolves, I hope your gaffer's not watching this, by the way. One of the ways in which Wolves can really, really put us under pressure is getting in behind our wing backs when they venture forwards. I think Dino is plugging that hole now. I think he spent half the game shouting at Mila Rashica to try and get him back to cover for Maxi Aarons, who at one stage would have 3 men in space around him, which is just, in the Premier League, you cannot allow that to happen. So many crosses came into the box, but we survived that storm. And one of the things that never happened under Daniel Farke, but happened under Dean Smith, he made a substitute at half time. And then when the second half started to peter out, he was proactive. He wasn't reactive. He attacked that game. He wanted to make a difference as a gaffer should do, by the way, in my opinion. Maybe a bit of an old opinion, but he made a change around that 60-minute mark, and we went on and got the winner. We applied the pressure. Grant Hanley scored, as you say. I think the bloke was a bit shocked. He didn't
Yeah.
even got out to celebrate.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a weird one, really, because Grant actually didn't have a good game at all and almost invited them on to score. It was a great save from Tim Krul. So it was a bit of a bonkers one. But at Carrow Road, you could really just sense the relief at the final whistle. And I guess against Wolves, we know that Wolves are one of the better sides in the league. I personally think, the teams I'm most impressed with this season, definitely Chelsea, followed by West Ham, followed by Wolves. And I think this is a game where we'll really be able to see how we've learned from that first chaotic game at Southampton.
Yeah, I mean, it would be really, really interesting. And I mean, looking at the stats quickly of that game, I mean, you didn't have much of the ball. Obviously, Southampton a lot more of it, and obviously there is only one stat that matters in the end is that that scoreline. But is that something that concerns you, the amount of the ball that you had, or on Saturday, or?
Yeah, again, yeah. I mean, it's something that we're not used to under Daniel Farke. We are used to, on the whole, having more possession than our opposition in most games. Even in some away games, that's been the case, which is why it's been so disappointing when we've lost them. If I'm honest, I expect this game to pan out in a similar way, not in terms of necessarily that scoreline, but in terms of the performance. And I think Wolves are as good, if not better, than Southampton on the ball in terms of keeping possession, teasing teams out of positions to get behind those lines and kill teams off. So yeah, it is a worry. James Ward-Prowse, played us about the park with ease. I think he had more passes than all of our midfield combined, or something ridiculous like that. So yeah, it is a worry, but ultimately, Dave, I don't really care. If we shithouse this game and win 1-0 and it's no goal off Connor Cody's arse, I don't care. I'll take it. I really will. Anything for survival, mate.
You spoke that into existence now. That's definitely going to happen, isn't it, now on Saturday? I'm not ready for it. No, it's a question you asked me, which I quite liked on your channel, in terms of, looking at the opposition team. And if you did, you're looking at the Wolves team right now, and, you're talking about Dean Smith maybe having to plug a few gaps in the Norwich side. Any of the Wolves' current squad that you would take at Norwich and think there would be a major improvement of what you've got currently?
Oh God, without a shadow of a doubt, Jimenez. Completely impossible, of course, but to play fantasy football, he would be the man. I am so impressed with Jimenez after his head injury, more so. More respect, more admiration. Love the story. It sounds weird because I'm a Norwich fan, but I just think he is world class. His finishing is sublime. We saw that against West Ham. It's just ridiculous. And I think he's just got that aura about him. And you only see that with the elite players. And it's very obvious that Jimenez brings more than finishing to that Wolves team. He also brings leadership. He brings confidence. And he's a player that I would definitely love. I mean, I dream of having a player up front like that. And to be fair, Norwich are short of a backup striker at the moment. We signed Josh Sargent for 9 million in the summer. He's more of a winger, though, if I'm honest. We have Adam Eder, who's very much up and coming in terms of the Ireland ranks, but it's not a player that you would necessarily put up there with someone that can truly compete with Teemu Pukki. So yeah, but Jimenez, what a player! What a player!
I know. I'd assume that would be the answer of a lot
of. I love Traore as well. I absolutely love Traore. He's an absolute beast from the East, and he scares me every time we play him.
I don't know I'm not sure where he'll start on Saturday, because Pedent started against West Ham and did really well. But there's a weird thing. I think Kwang's got his place. Jimenez has got his place. And the right-hand side, it's Trincao, Adama, or Pedent. But Pedent's played well, so I think Pedent will get the nod.
So maybe sorry, you go, Dave.
I was going to say a tiring Grant Hanley versus maybe a Adama Traore running at him in the last 20 minutes might be interesting.
You say Traore is on the right-hand side when he comes on?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he'll be up against either. Well, it's going to be Brandon Williams. Not sure if he's counted him for Manchester United before. If
Yeah.
not, it'll be Demetrius Giannoulis. But Brandon Williams, quite physical. I've got confidence that he could.
Williams did okay whenever we played United last year or the year before. Williams played up against the Troy Allrain. He did okay against him, to be fair. So I'll
That's
give
what
him that.
matters.
Yeah. And to finish us off, the toughest question of the video, your score prediction. What you thinking?
Well, I'm not going to give you a different one to
No.
to my one on Talk Norwich City. I think. Look, I'm not an idiot. I'm impressed with Wolves. I think it's going to be a seriously tough game. My head says that this will be that it'll be 2-2. I think there'll be goals. I think it'll be end to end. I do think it'll be chaotic. I don't think Wolves will have sussed out our squad because we are now an unpredictable team for the next 5.
Yeah.
And I think Dino will change it. I don't think Todd will start. So there'll be a different player in there. It could be Josh Sargent. It could be someone else. We could see something completely different. He might have not liked what he saw against Southampton. So, yeah, I think 2-2 is what I'm realistically expecting. But I'll put my head above the parapet and I'll say 2-1 to the mighty Yellows.
Mate, you've got to back your own team. I respect it, mate. I respect it. So, yeah, Chris, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. Like I said earlier, you know, it's been a channel I've been keeping my eye on for a long time. So I'm really happy to have you on the channel. And I'll make sure I leave a link for Chris's socials and the Talk Norwich City socials in the description. We did a really good video on his channel as well if you want to hear a bit more of my thoughts about Wolves heading into the game. But Chris, best of luck for this weekend and best of luck for the rest of the season.
We won't need it. Don't worry.
So big thanks to Chris. Like I said, it's been an absolute honour having him on the channel. Fantastic channel as well. If you're a neutral fan or you like following the thoughts of other fans as well, be sure to go and check out Talk Norwich City. But as always, guys, my score prediction, I'm going to go with a solid, very solid 2-0 win for Wolves. I could go my traditional 2-1 win. I think that would be safe, but a 2-0 win. I'm hoping that Wolves can put Norwich to the sword. And I think a 3 points is doable for Wolves. It's very, very much doable. And if we can and results go our way, we could finish the weekend in 5th place in the league. And going into that game against Burnley, that would be huge. Can Bruno Lage continue the Wolves' best ever Premier League start to a season? Fingers crossed, and let's hope so. I'll see you on Saturday evening for the match reaction, and we'll have the fans react as well. And we may well have a Twitter space. There seems to be the thing right now, a Twitter space at the end of the game, gauging the thoughts of some fans online. So be sure to hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, guys. Enjoy the rest of your evening and your day and your weekend whenever you're listening or watching this. And I'll see you all very, very soon.